By way of introduction, my name is Purnima and I lead the communications vertical at Arthan. The Genpact and Arthan team have gathered here today to share more about the Better World Initiative program. It's a highly selective one-year consulting program in partnership with Piramal Foundation. This unique initiative offers professionals the opportunity to work on high priority projects with select nonprofits to drive deep social impact. In the next 45 minutes, you will be asked to participate in some very interactive polls, hear from the expert about Genpact's BWI program, and get a chance to see insightful presentations on BWI project showcases with our guest speakers for the day. Additionally, there will be an engaging discussion featuring the speakers who have made significant contributions to the Better World Initiative. The application deadline for the BWI program has been extended until 22nd December. So for any queries and clarifications, please reach out to better.world@genpact.com. Without further ado, I would like to start some interactive polls. I would request our audience to engage with it. The poll will now be displayed on the screen. I see we have 36% people who are somewhat familiar and 14% people who are very familiar and 50% people who are not familiar at all. It's great to see actually a mix of familiarity levels among our audience, and we're here to provide you with more insights and information as we proceed with today's session. We will proceed to the second poll of the day. May I please request my colleague to display that as well? The question on the poll, just for everyone's reference, is what motivates you to be interested in BWI? And then we have three options. Please feel free to choose the one that you feel most familiar with. Thank you. All right, we see 58% people have answered professional growth and personal development. 26% people, I work in the social sector and would like to learn more about the tools. And 16% people, I work in the corporate sector. Thanks for sharing that, folks. It's really inspiring to see a diverse range of interests among our audience. With that, let's delve into our program. To kick things off, I would like to introduce Sutanuka, Program Lead, Better World Initiative. Sutanuka Ghosh leads strategic CSR initiatives at Genpact BWI, a flagship skill volunteering program that provides pro bono consulting support to nonprofits for long-term sustainable impact. Over to you, Sutanuka, to give an overview about the program.
Hi, thank you, Purnima, and thanks everybody for joining in today. Good afternoon. Thank you for making out time. As Purnima kind of stated right at the beginning, it's a weekday and we completely appreciate. I would want to give a brief of this initiative before we get into the details of what we do exactly within the program. This is a flagship program, as we mentioned, of Genpact CSR in partnership with Piramal Foundation. The program is 8 years old and we are about to start the 9th year journey in the coming month of April 2024. So 8 years of successfully running a fellowship program where we do pro bono consulting for the not-for-profits. We have a lineage of having worked with 200 plus organizations, and we have on board 150 plus fellows and have been driving transformation projects impacting more than 19.5 million human lives across India. We have been working across education, health, livelihood, skilling, women empowerment, so on and so forth. You name the vertical, we have tried to, kind of touch that vertical and start creating impactful outcomes there in whatever way we possibly could. Now, if I step back and say that, what has the journey been like and why do we even have a program like this? I would want to go back to 2015 when we had the 2% CSR law coming in, wherein it was a mandate for corporate houses to plow back and invest at least 2% of their profits back into the CSR space. Genpact, or JEKIS, being an organization who has always been a very staunch supporter of CSR and related activities for over the last 3 decades in India operations, our thought process was, what could we possibly do different from what we have been doing, different from sponsoring not-for-profits by, kind of giving financial aid. It was a result of about a year of need analysis, which led to the fact that, the transformation projects that we do for our for-profit clients in Genpact, we could do the same type of work for our not-for-profit clients, not-for-profit organizations. There was enough and more requirement to run transformation projects for the not-for-profit sector. That was, Genpact continued this study for about 9 months to arrive at this conclusion that if we could design a program wherein our folks who are process trained, aware of Lean Six Sigma, digital tools, analytics, has a knack for design thinking methodologies of solving problems, if we could bring in such experts into a program of skill volunteering and align them to not-for-profits to run transformation projects, it would be of immense help. Now, what was the shortcoming because of which not-for-profits could not leverage these folks? These are highly trained and high on cost, to be very upfront, professionals, and hence affordability of doing, kind of having them in the space to run such projects was an area of opportunity in this space. So Genpact, having been known for their prowess in running Lean Six Sigma projects, design thinking, running projects and running assignments using design thinking tools and techniques, we thought that it was a win-win situation to create a platform wherein we could bring in our experts, also leverage the expertise of the social sector experts who were interested in learning something around process transformation, who were interested in learning Lean Six Sigma and to contribute to this space. And thus the program was born. We started with 3 projects and 6 fellows in the first year, and the program has grown exponentially year on year. And currently we do more than 40 projects in a year. In fact, we do more than 50 projects in a year, impacting at least 4 to 4.5 million lives, to be precise, year on year. And a lot of the project team who executes these projects are there on the call today to speak to all of us and share a slice of the work that we have been doing. The growth, as I said, has been phenomenal. It has been fulfilling as well as mutually enriching. While we could bring in the expertise of what we had within Genpact, I think our learning from the social sector, from the development sector experts has been immense and extremely enriching, because when you are in a corporate, you are used to thinking in a fixed way, in a particular method. So how do you break that method? How do you unlearn yet contribute using process and process related skills? Demystifying the unknown, from coming from a processized background where everything is available, data is available, you have access to information and everything that is there that you need to run a successful project, to an environment which is full of ambiguity. How do you figure your way out and yet influence people, drive change, make things happen, and such impactful change to happen which impacts human lives to start off with? I think that has been very, very enriching for a bunch of professionals who come in from hardcore corporate space. That is how Genpact has actually benefited out of this engagement, to be very upfront. And on that note, Purnima, I'll hand it back to you for the next leg of the discussion.
Thank you. Thanks, Sutanuka, for that very detailed overview of the program. I'm sure folks in the audience, I would again encourage you, please feel free to drop in all your questions in the chat box and we'll take it up at the end of the session. Thanks again, Sutanuka. Now, I would like to invite Sujan and Arpita to share more about ongoing and completed high-impact projects, discussing the challenges faced and innovative solutions implemented. First, I would like to introduce and invite Sujan. Sujan has 12 plus years of work experience in the development sector, worked with national and global non-profit organizations, state governments, and CSRs, led projects across education, health, and livelihoods. Welcome, Sujan.
Thank you, Purnima, and hello, everyone. My name is Sujan, and I have been associated with Better World Initiative since last 3.5 years. During this tenure, I have completed 7 projects by myself and also got an opportunity to mentor around 12 projects. It has been an experiential journey in that impact consulting space. Each project is very unique and tailored to their organization's requirement. Here, I am showcasing one of the projects that you can see on the screen right now. In this project, I have worked with a Madhya Pradesh-based nonprofit organization, which creates platform for young men and women to develop 21st century skills and recognize their true potential on a long-term period. The organization, so the problem that the organization came to us, the organization did not have a centralized structured data management system. And as a result, it was facing issues like delay in donor reporting. The leadership was not able to monitor the quality of activities that they're doing on the ground. At the same time, there was no impact measurement. Within 6 months' time, following Lean Six Sigma and design thinking approach, I identified a lot of gaps in their current processes, gaps like there's high cycle time in terms of data collection, data consolidation, and reporting. There were multiple storage points that were used by the organization staff. We did organization maturity assessment to understand what sort of technology will be suitable for that particular organization. And in this project, at the end of 5th month, we develop a standardized data management system using Google Looker Studio. For everyone's understanding, Google Looker Studio is an open source platform which comes with no cost involvement from the organization side. Over the period of time, it helped the organization for timely data collection, compilation, analysis, and reporting. It reduced manual intervention, which actually reduced a lot of errors that were happening initially. And the entire dashboard is live now, which actually contributed towards donor reporting, timely donor reporting, and also improving the quality of monitoring and impact. The project got me the opportunity to work with the organization senior leadership, manage varieties of stakeholders, both within the organization, also external like developers who build that application using Google Looker Studio. In this period, I upskill myself in technology knowledge, how to handle technology, how to incorporate technology into processes to improve efficiency of the processes. Through this project, I have learned the language to interact with tech developers, like creating wireframes, creating business requirement documents. The project was majorly led by me. However, there was an entire ecosystem of mentors, corporate leaders, and social sector experts who guided me throughout the project journey in each and every stage, provided quality inputs to maintain that quality of the solution that we are delivering. Particularly in this project, I have received guidance on change management, and that helped me to add multiple elements of change management into the project design, which further helped the organization to adopt the solution over a long period of time. The last 3.5 years has been quite empowering experience for me, learning and contributing towards organization development and made them more effective and efficient in last mile program delivery. So that's kind of the project that I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Over to you, Purnima.
Thank you. Thanks, Sujan, for sharing your journey and also for sharing the Lean Six Sigma approaches in enhancing data management systems for a nonprofit, leading to improved reporting, quality monitoring, and impact evaluation. I'm sure whatever you shared has been very insightful for our audience as well. So thanks again. Next, we have Arpita Chowdhury, who has over 8 years of experience in the development sector with core skills in team management, stakeholder engagement, and data analysis. Welcome, Arpita.
Thanks, Purnima. Hi, everyone. I'm Arpita, working as a Better World Initiative consultant since April 2023. I come with an experience of around 8 years in the social development sector. And before BWI, I have been associated with several nonprofits and have worked in different domains such as child protection, women empowerment, health, and livelihood. would use this platform to share how at BWI we work towards designing some solutions that create impact in the lives of the underserved communities and individuals. So you can see the screen where I have projected one of the projects I was assigned. So this nonprofit I've worked with, they started facilitation hubs for rural youth with the objective of creating livelihood opportunities by linking with them with various resource organizations who provide skill training, job placements, and entrepreneurial activities. So they had prototyped the model in limited locations and then was willing to scale it up. And their ask from BWI was to make the model functional when the scale up has happened. So as my first step, what I did, I wanted to understand the current operations and how the hubs were functioning, what was going well, which components were in demand, which part was budding, and all the minute details even before I delved into the scalability part. So here I'd like to point out the significance of using the 4D approach that we follow. So the first step being the chance to understand what the program was about by continuous interaction with the partner organization, getting to hear from them, understanding their organization strengths, their weaknesses, and get the groundwork ready. Once that was done, I think the most thrilling part was the field visits which I made. It was very effective as it helped me connect with the people who were directly implementing all the activities on the field. And it gives you a close shot of the ground reality, right? So most importantly, whatever solutions you build, they have to be acceptable and feasible for the community. And it's only possible when you have that first-hand experience with the stakeholders. So during these visits, what I did, I met all the team members, I met the market players, other external stakeholders, did some analytical studies by collecting data, and also interacted directly with the youth, the end beneficiaries who would get and gathered their opinions, And during the visit, I then kind of found out the gaps that existed within the present system, like how they had very low conversion, there was low reach within the community, and then there were dropouts midway from the program. And also we also found that how the staff they were recruiting, they were not very skilled, and hence the deliverable was not coming out right. So keeping all these things in mind, I developed the solutions. Basically, to put it simply, I looked into two domains, wanted to fix the mismatch that existed between the youth's demand and aspirations. Along with that, whatever services were being provided by the hub. So we ended up creating a mobilization plan, which was robust, and it increased their reach within the community. We created a tool that helped them find the skills and competencies required within their employees and upgraded them. And hence there was a large scale improvement seen in the task that they were delivering. Along with that, we also created a structured framework which helped them interact with external stakeholders. That again improved and increased the number of options within the community for the young people. So that's how the design was made, and it increased the satisfaction. The ultimate goal was received. Let me point out one more thing here. During all the phases, whatever learning I had, it came from the Lean Six Sigma and the design thinking tools which I used. Right from the very beginning, whether it was during identifying the partner's strengths, their pain areas, or while establishing the problem statement, or maybe to reach, the root causes of the problem, even during generating new ideas for designing the solutions, I have taken help of the tools. And I'll tell you how it benefited me. It helped me cut down my dependence on assumptions, since whatever findings I had, it was based on the strategic techniques that I followed. It also saved time, and it helped me look at things objectively and not digress from the main problem which I've been solving for. To sum it up, the stages in which we approach the BWI situation and then take stepwise actions with the help of the tools, for which again we receive hands-on training on LSS and DT. It gives a clear vision of what we are trying to achieve through the projects. The focus is constantly on the impact, which is very important, looking at the larger picture and have your focus there on how it will be benefiting the individual and the community you're working for. As a consultant coming from a social sector background, I definitely had my own apprehensions regarding the usage of these tools in the social domain. But it kind of worked out. I think I got a whole new perspective building happen. For example, if I say, like, we all struggle, right? Whenever we try to reach to the bottom of a problem, we tend to overlook certain very crucial aspects. But imagine if you have a system which is so structured that none of those problems will get overlooked. So nothing as good as that. So from my experience from this entire year of journey that I have gone through with BWI, this combination of incorporating the process improvement approaches like LSS and DT into the social domain, it gives you, I'll tell you, a flavor of both the worlds. And you can add technology and the human connect and create a huge difference. So yeah, that's about me and the project. Thank you, Purnima. Over to you.
Thank you, Arpita. I think so many points that you mentioned stood out for me. The role of Lean Six Sigma in design thinking, designing solutions, and at the same time saving the time to efficiently manage other aspects. I think one point that you mentioned about the tech gap in the social sector and how through these tools you could incorporate it and sort of bridge that gap. That's personally been very insightful for me. So thanks once again, Arpita. Thank you to Sujan and Arpita for sharing the incredible work being done at community level and also for sharing the overall work being done at BWI. With that, let's now transition into a dynamic discussion featuring the insights from Sujan, Arpita, and Sutanuka on other interesting facets about the program. So first, I would like to ask Sujan, considering your expertise, how do you see initiatives like the Better World Initiative at Genpact contributing to the broader landscape of social impact? And what role do you believe professionals like yourself can play in driving the meaningful change through such programs?
Okay. Thanks, Purnima. I think the question has two parts. I think first part being how BWI is contributing to the broader landscape of social impact. I think as per my understanding, Better World Initiative has an unique approach through its social impact consulting program by bringing innovative solutions to complex issues, particularly in development sector, building the capacity of the organization, building data-driven cultures, and also transferring knowledge from a systematic adoption. The projects at BWI range from improving internal functions of nonprofit, like improving human resource management, improving data management, knowledge management, to standardizing and scale up of their on-ground program delivery. Now, now answering to the second part of your question, which is the role of a development professional like me driving meaningful change through Better World Initiative. I believe Better World Initiative brought me a special opportunity to learn effective business sector tools, which we have already talked about, building skills of data management, understanding tech solution designing, and apply those in a live project environment, and executing those tools and guiding and mentoring social sector organization towards a continuous improvement journey. Through Better World Initiative projects, I got the opportunity to lead multiple projects end-to-end, following a scientific, data-driven, and systematic approach, which was designed to the nonprofit sector's requirement, and finally optimizing their operations. In the last 3.5 years of my professional career, it has been an immensely sort of encouraging and empowering journey for me, witnessing multiple nonprofit partners adopting effective business solutions to solve some of their very core problems and maximize their impact to millions of lives. Thank you, Purnima.
No, thanks, Sujan. Actually, it's very inspiring to hear how BWI has created this unique platform for development professionals to, apply for high impact business tools systematically, which leads to significant improvements in nonprofit organizations. And your journey from learning effective business tools to guiding social sector organizations, for that matter, on a continuous improvement is like a continuous improvement journey, and that showcases the impact of the program. So thank you. Um, Actually, with that, I'd like to make a segue and ask Arpita, with your extensive experience in diverse sectors within the development space, you have navigated through women empowerment, health, and livelihood initiatives. How do you see the skills honed in these areas contributing to the unique skill sets needed in the Better World Initiative program at Genpact? And if you could also provide an example of how your stakeholder engagement and data analysis skills have been instrumental in driving positive change within the nonprofit sector.
Okay, thanks, Purnima. To answer your first question, the skills that has been honed, right? So, at BWI, I think one of the most valued skills is having a good hold on data. So when I say data, it's not only about numbers, but also being able to read that data and build some insights out of it. So I can rightly say that my data muscle has improved a lot through this journey of BWI because of the immense trainings and orientation and mentoring that I have received. So that's one skill which has been honed, of course. And second, another very important skill we have to kind of follow, and which has improved for me, if you ask, is my ability to engage with the stakeholders time and again throughout the journey, throughout all the 4 stages. And thirdly, another very crucial and very important skill I would like to point out is the time management that we do here. So we adhere to very strict timelines, and navigating through the stakeholders, getting your job done on time and in a proper way within that timeline. So it is a huge learning which I'm going to take away from BWI, I think. And if I have to cite an example, so if you ask me about stakeholder engagement, the most important part is to know how to tailor your communication style. I think that's vital. You have to understand the pulse of the audience and how to deliver. So if I have to give an example, I'll put it this way. So you have to accommodate yourself, like your timings are very important. If you know that you're working with women, a group of women who are daily wage earners, so your meetings should be held in the evening. So you cannot cringe and say that, no, my evenings have to be in the morning. So, and then you have to speak their language. If it's Hindi, it's Hindi. Maybe take their way of speaking. Those things are very important. That has helped me a lot because my stakeholders have, the responses I've received from them has actually helped me throughout the project work. And in case of data analysis, if you ask me, so I did an extensive data analysis job where I collected primary data from the field to understand what's going on during my diagnose phase. And from there, the insights that I received, based on those, I had actually created my solutions. And hence, the result or the output, if you ask, had come out right. Otherwise, I don't know if it had come it right. Maybe, it would not have. So yeah, so these are the 2 examples I can think of right now. And yeah, thanks, Purnima. Over to
Thank you. Thanks, Arpita. No, I'm sure. So the things that I could take out of this is how this program helped view data objectively. It's not just numbers, but also sort of deciphering it and building on those insights. That's very interesting to know. And being a communication professional myself, I totally relate with you on the point where you said it is very important to understand our target audience and also how the messaging has to be conveyed to them. So thanks for actually mentioning that. I would now like to bring back Sutanuka and ask you, given your role in driving strategic CSR initiatives at Genpact BWI, you've been a driving force behind skill volunteering programs that offer pro bono consulting support to nonprofits. So could you highlight the distinctive skills BWI consultants bring to the sector? And if you could also throw some light on life as a BWI consultant and any other personal insight into the opportunities by being part of the program, I'm sure it would be very helpful for our audience to know.
I'll take that question. A lot of part questions, and Purnima, in case I miss anything, please
Sure.
definitely highlight.
Sure.
Let me start with a statement which almost every member of my team by now is aware of. This is not at all an easy journey. If you thought that this is CSR, this is pro bono consulting, so you just get to do the way how you want to, that is not the case, definitely. The point is that the rigor that we bring into the operating part of the program is something which demarcates our program from the rest of the CSR opportunities that we frankly run within the organization. This is no less than any business consulting. Let me put it upfront. When we conceptualized the program, we were very clear we want to be the McKinseys of development space. So when you want to be a McKinsey or a Bain consultant of the development space, you just can't say that, okay, my job was to give it back to the space. I've given it back to the space as a human being, and I fulfilled my passion and all of it is done. See, these are great concepts to nurture, to have it in the back of your mind as a driving force to say that I'm a passionate professional. But with passion, you bring in a set of skills, and we ensure that you implement those skills in the entire objective of running the program, in the entire objective of running the project. I mean, Sujan and Arpita, Pooja, all of them that you see from BWI on this particular webinar today, at some point or the other have been part of executing projects. So they completely understand what it is to be, kind of being in those shoes. Those shoes are very large to be filled. Well, in the initial part, when I told you, Purnima, that, the biggest blockage that we bring in our minds is we are tuned to working in a particular way. A corporate individual brings in a mindset of everything being super organized, everything being available. You write emails, you escalate, and things happen. So a social sector professional brings in the skill of ambiguity, brings in the skill of senior stakeholder management, making things happen out of nothing which is specified and laid out. These are certain very distinguished skill sets that development professionals bring into the table because of the nature of the ambiguous environment that they waddle through during their journey. How do you mix and match both and enable a BWI professional to make the most out of it is very interesting. So a certain amount of unlearning and a certain amount of learning happens. What do we've been talking about process excellence, Lean Six Sigma, design thinking, so on and so forth. Sujan mentioned that he had to learn a new set of tools related to Google Studio when he was, kind of working on his management information system project. These are all need-based, but the thing is there is an architecture which is there. So once you are within the program is going to give you support in terms of understanding the architecture, in terms of giving you the dope, provided you have an appetite to learn. The program gives you that dope to understand what it is all about. It's not rocket science. Let me upfront tell you and tell everybody who's there on the webinar today. Is it difficult? No, it is not difficult. All that you need is an aptitude to learn and the openness to imbibe the change. Because if you as an individual, if you're not open to that change, if you don't, kind of accept what methodology is being taught to you, is being professed to you to be implemented in your projects, how will you manage your stakeholders? Because as individuals, when we are driving projects, it's me, it's Arpita, it's Sujan. As individual, when we are doing the project, we are interacting with the CEO of the organization. And if I'm not convinced on the methodology, if I'm not convinced on the solution that I'm proposing, if I'm not convinced on the logic of approach, how will I convince my stakeholder? So I think some of the key attributes that a consultant develops during the journey is change management, because we position this program as an aspiring change makers program. So we develop change makers. So you have to be a change catalyst or a change agent in your space. So you definitely, kind of acquire that skill during the journey. You learn stakeholder management. You definitely have developed some muscle around process related knowledge of driving Lean Six Sigma tools, techniques, basically how to arrive at solutions, how to arrive at outcomes logically. And of course, the entire end-to-end practice of executing project management. You must have heard about timelines. We have spoken a lot on that. Yes, we're very particular about it because that is how the entire fellowship journey is broken down. That is how the entire project life cycle is broken down. And we are extremely passionate about the methodology that we bring in. So that is one part of it. And as I said, life as a BWI consultant is extremely enriching because you're continuously learning. There is not a single moment which is dull for you wherein you have said that, oh, I've exhausted all my learning opportunities. That just doesn't happen. Because the project is, kind of designed in such a phase that in every phase there is some new tools, techniques, methodologies to be learned and implemented into the project. At the same time, when you're implementing those methodologies, you are also honing certain skills within yourself to be able to, kind of go through the entire journey. So extremely enriching in terms of your knowledge. I wouldn't say that you are 100% transformed individual when you complete the journey, but definitely you start thinking logically. If you are implementing process excellence in your projects, if you are getting attuned to thinking in a particular way, it is but obvious that you will also start putting the best practices that you learn from that side of the table into your own life. So end of 12 months, you start thinking in a particular manner if you have really been sincere to the engagement. That's the biggest takeaway. The fulfillment of doing something for people, practices where the requirement is the most is there. It is underlying and it is the most empowering fact that brings both the spaces together. But I think we sharpen our skills manifold to be very smart, passionate, dedicated individual professionals once we complete this journey of 1 year.
Thank you. Thanks, Sutanuka, for sharing this very candid and comprehensive response, I would say. Two things that stood out for me is aptitude to learn and open to change. I think that can anyone who's being part of this program would then become the change makers that the program actually envisions to be. So thanks a lot. I'm sure it has been very helpful for the audience as well. I would now like to thank all our speakers here for sharing their experiential journeys. To keep the engagement going, we have an interactive poll on Mentimeter coming up. Please click on the link shared in the chat and share your responses with us. All right, we can see words like methodologies. So the question here is, what type of resource and support do you believe would be crucial for your success if you join BWI? The responses we see so far are fieldwork, training, access to tools, mentorship, closely work with partner, data analysis, buddy mentor system, case studies, top tools training, autonomy but direction, skill development, data analysis. Thank you everyone for engaging with this poll. It's very interesting to see all these diverse perspectives on the resources that are required. Thanks again. Now we will move on to the next poll for the day, and then we'll open the floor for questioning. So we're going to display the link for the second poll. It's again on Mentimeter, and your answers will be displayed on the screen. So over here, LSS means Lean Six Sigma, as speakers have mentioned earlier. So the question is, other than LSS, what specific learning opportunities you're exploring with BWI? Options, our responses we see are design thinking, research and insights, project management, research collaborations, stakeholder engagement, monitoring and evaluation, networking. All right, very interesting to see these responses. We'll take another 5 seconds and then in the interest of time, move to the Q&A. People management is also one of the response that has come up. All right. Okay, it's very nice to see the specific learning opportunities you're keen on exploring beyond LSS, and your insights have contributed significantly to our understanding. We've taken a note of it. Thank you very much for your active participation. I now open the floor for Q&A. For anyone who wants to ask question, please feel free to raise your hand and then unmute yourself, or put in your questions in the chat box and we can take it up one by one. Feel free to also unmute yourself and ask questions.
I did receive a couple of requests, and also people have written here that what is the process of hiring. So applications are open. Applications are open till 22nd of December, and the mailbox ID. Also, I believe Purnima has called out, and Purnima, if we at least to folks who have registered for this webinar, if we can send out the email ID so that people interested can refer or can keep applying. So once you apply, then the selection process actually starts basis the the criteria that we normally look forward to, the experience and the criteria of having experience of implemented projects in the social sector. It is obvious that ideally people who are coming from outside may or may not have a Lean Six Sigma or process knowledge, related knowledge. So we do not look for any sort of certification from external hires, but definitely there should be a association with the space, and should have prior experience of having executed social impact projects. Experience window is normally 8 to 12 years that we have. Can keep fluctuating. We do consider, kind of candidates who are literally exceptional. As we said that, this is a 1-year engagement and it is a consulting assignment. There are 3 rounds specifically. So first is the screening round basis the fitment of the resume. Once that is done, the BWI team interacts with the candidate one-on-one to have a basic understanding of their aptitude towards the program, their knowledge about the program. Then, of course, there is a case study round where we do, kind of share certain situations wherein we would encourage the candidate to think of possible solutions. Basically, it is a test of the thinking methodology, basis the experience and common sense. How instinctively would you want to solve the solution, the problem in hand? We would want to assess you on that. And it is followed by a very detailed operational round where the team interacts with the candidate one-on-one again. So once you have cleared these 2 rounds, there is a final panel round, which is a mix of Genpact leaders. We have people from the program, and also we have people from the sector who participate in a full day-long panel to select the final cohort, right? We will usually take about 6 to 7 weeks time from the time that we stop our applications to the time that we go ahead and we announce the cohort selects, right? So for example, if we finish, if the selection process or application process is over by 22nd December, you can expect the final list of the selects to be out by the end of January. Last week of January is when we will be declaring the results. So that is the type of timeline that we are looking at. Post every toll gate of interaction, if you are part of the pool, you will receive communication from our end, which will confirm whether you are through or, whether, your candidature has been dropped at that point in time. So that's how we take it forward. The fellowship will start by the middle of March, when we will launch our new hire integrated program. Basically, the training starts middle of March. It's a 14-day training program, post which folks are deployed on projects by the first week of April. That's when the 1-year journey starts. First week of April, project execution starts. That's pretty much the walk from now to the selects and thereafter.
As I understand that we are looking for people with around 10 to 12 years of experience. So people who are particularly set in the industry. and working well from the corporates. I think this is more like a transition, and particularly for the people who are interested in working in the development sector. Might not have worked earlier, or maybe they might have worked in certain projects. But coming from a stable career, what happens after a fellowship program?
Typically, what happens to a fellowship program, Om Prakash, that is, you acquire a set of skill sets, and using those skill sets, you make a transition into the particular area of choice. We have seen cross transitions happening, like people from corporates coming in, doing the program, going into social sectors, and vice versa. We have seen social sector experts completing 1-year program, getting hired in corporates. So the tenure of the fellowship is 1 year. You get imbibed with a certain set of skill sets. You want to take the risk. You take the risk, and post taking the risk, ideally, I would urge professionals to think through that, what is in for you in the program, and with the skills that you acquired from the program, what would you like to do in future? I think that thought process should be very clear in our minds while we are applying for this fellowship.
Thanks, Om Prakash. Anyone else who has a particular question? I think Fahim has asked, how many fellows does BWI select in a cohort?
Around 16 to 18, depending on the count of projects that we finalize, can go up to 20 to 22.
I think we can take one last question and then we'll close the session.
I think in the chat window, Fahim has asked if we take applicants less than 5 years. So no, we do not encourage applicants to be less than 5 years experience.
Okay. Thanks, Sutanuka.
I think there's a question related to fee. I think Purnima, you address that. So for application, there is no fee, definitely.
So there is no application fee. Genpact doesn't charge anything for applying to the program. And if you're selected as a consultant, of course, there is a monthly remuneration that is paid to you.
Yeah, hi, my name is Sabzar Ahmed. I'm from Jammu and Kashmir. So I wanted to ask what would be the place of this fellowship?
Okay, so it is ideally Delhi, but it depends upon the project for which you have been selected. It is ideally Delhi. However, there can be a relocation depending on your skills and the project where we fit you into if you are selected for the fellowship.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you to all the speakers here for making this very impactful day. Have a great day ahead. Thanks, everyone.